From then, when a few days has passed, finally, the New Year's program ends, and soon the middle and high school third terms would be starting. Today, in the lunch, once more, the figures of the girl and I were staring at the television. It's boring, isn't it?
そうね。
The word came back in reply, but both of us conversing while continuing to gaze at the screen. Hey, is this place always like this?
質問の意味がわからない。
I mean, how there's no one around? Nurse, doctors, add to that, helpers, and if you take them out, then aside from our attendants, I have never seen anyone else. I guess it's because it's the New Year's?
その理由を知りたいの？
No, it's not like I meant
じゃ
that.
あ言わない。
An exchange that wasn't even a conversation. We indifferently passed back and forth. A slight breeze from the window that could not open more than 15 centimeters. Occasionally, it would sway the girl's hair, and in the same way would sway the white flowers decorating around the window. The two of us, while watching the boring television, were only spending days passing time. Oh, the two of you were in a place like this? Saying that while rushing up was an elderly nurse. From just glancing at the nurse station once in a while, this person seemed to be chief in the 7th floor. So, Satsumi-san, don't you have fever?
大丈夫。出てない。
Satsumi. Apparently, this was the girl's name. You can't be roaming about outside anymore, okay? Alright, everyone gets worried.
別にいいよ。
My, what kind of statement is that? Really, girls these days, there's just no helping them. And for a while more, the nurse continued scolding. To that, the girl said to me, let it go by with an indifferent expression. As if ignoring the slightly noisy nurse, she continued watching the boring screen. Well, later, I'll be coming to take blood sample, right? With those final words, once again the nurse returned back to the nurse station. Hey, you. I mean, I can call you Satsumi, right? Wrapped around the girl's wrist was the white vinyl bracelet. While looking at the blood type and name there, I asked, something wrong, Satsumi?
どうして呼び捨てなの？
What?
年下のくせに。
Hey, why is that I'm the younger one?
別に。そう思っただけ。
It wasn't that I was upset at the word younger. It was just, no matter how you look at it, one would believe I was 5, 6 years older. That was why I took out that license that was in my chest pocket and showed it to her. How about it? Even though I look like this, I'm 20, you know.
やっぱり年下よ。
Huh? With just a glance at the license, the girl gave only that reply. I don't really get it.
どうでもいいじゃない。少し上なだけよ。
As always, the girl spoke softly with no expression. Those I, while looking at the boring television, I felt that they were also looking at some place far away. When the morning temperature taking end, I got onto the elevator, trying not to be seen by the nurse. Coming to the first floor, deliberately passing through the entrance of outpatients, and I just kept walking out of the hospital. The destination was the place I was thought before, not the nearby station A, but the far station B. It wasn't like I was planning on running away. The 7th floor or home. There was no one who died outside of these two. Before, That was what I heard. And it also seemed that that girl called Setsumi had gone many times to Station B. And that was why, for no real reason, I simply felt like wanting to go to see that place once. It's not like there are guards around. Even so, us residents on the 7th floor were different from other admit patients. While also thinking about it, just maybe I continue walking on the street to the early morning station area. Glancing at the hurrying commuters and people going to school, I slowly move on at a measured pace. After walking a while, taking about 25 minutes, I finally arrived before the station. In terms of bus stops, it was about force distance. In a way, there is quite a bit of people around. That was the first impression upon seeing Station B. Because my clothes were pajamas, I stood out somewhat. However, it's just like that. I brought a train ticket without a single problem. I felt I could go anywhere. Why was it not Station A but this Station B that was recommended? I didn't know. However, if one were planning to run away, I thought it was a simple thing. Certainly, the girl was also supposed to have come many times, but why was it that she still remained in the 7th floor even though, I wonder? Early morning before the station, while watching the people hurrying by, suddenly that thought occurred to me. That night, after the lights had been turned off, holding into a book of manga, unable to sleep, I wandered around the world alone. Normally, wandering around after lights out would get one scalded badly, but us residents of the 7th floor were given a relative amount of freedom. And with the lights off, the usual lounge was pitch dark. There, I saw her figure. "Hey, today you're looking outside?"
Mm.
In the dark room, there was a response, but that face remained looking beyond the window. Immediately, I started talking about what happened during the day. That reminds me, this morning I went all the way to the station. Just like you told me, I went to see Station B.
So,
But the girl's response was no different from the usual. Because he was supposed to have gone before, I had thought that there might have been some kind of reaction, but thinking about that and how the girl still remained here, did it mean that she really had no intention of running away?
私、もうすぐ帰れるの。
Eh? Suddenly, the girl opened her mouth. Words, as if she had been clear through my heart just now.
でも、次で3回目だから、もう会えないかもね。
That's right. Most likely, when she said that she would be able to go home, she was talking about a temporary discharge. In this place called the 7th floor, being admitted more than 3 times is apparently never happened. Especially, unlike the elderly, when considering the rate of progression of disease, it was even more so for younger patients like us. With that kind of meaning came the words, "We won't meet again."
ね。あなたはどちらを選ぶの？
Choose what?
どっちで死ぬつもりってこと？
Suddenly, hearing the word that, my words caught for just a moment. Well, I haven't thought about it yet.
そう。まだ1回目だもんね。
The girl spoke in a lonely murmur. Of course, I knew even I couldn't be here forever. Like everyone else, going in and out of the hospital, slowly weakening, till someday, in the end, either this 7th floor or surrounded by thin smiles, it would come to a choice between those two, probably.
私は家は嫌。だけどここも嫌。
Then what will you do?
別にどうもしない。自力で歩けるうちにどこかに行くだけ。
Somewhere you... Even though it was obvious that if one wanted to run away, one could, this girl still remained on the 7th floor. When I thought about that, do you have some other place to go?
あなた、私を引き止めたいの？
Hey?
それとも一緒についてきたいの？
No, I didn't mean it like that.
じゃあ聞かないで。
While gazing out the window, the girl spoke indifferently. As always, it had been a conversation where she did not even look in my direction. However, just that time, I saw that her usual expressionless profile seemed sad. I thought that the third temporary discharge would be the last, the first time I've come to the 7th floor. And then a girl who would soon face her second time. For me, I still couldn't really feel the feeling that were happening in reality. But someday I would also come to make such a face. From before dawn, rain fell, occasionally also changing to either sleet or snow. It lightly continued coming down. Within that, I was in the usual place watching the television. As always, this 7th floor was devoid of people.
面白い。
Nope, boring. The girl came from the other side. Exchanging only those words, she quietly sat in the folding chair next to me. And then today also, the two of us began gazing at the television. Surely, the girl was also the same. There was nothing else to do, nothing else she could do.
Ah.
Surprisingly, she responded to something on the television. Something the matter?
別に。
The words were the same, Batsuni, but it was a response that was different from usual from the girl. Becoming interested, I turned my eyes to the screen. What was on the screen was some kind of nature scene on a beautiful hill, trees and flowers merged into a landscape. And focused on the screen were a great many white flowers. There were flowers I remember seeing before. They resemble the white flowers even though decorating the room by the window. Oh. Aren't those the same flower? Look, aren't they exactly like this? While speaking, I pointed first at the screen and then towards the window.
種類は同じだけど厳密に言えば違う。
Giving just a glance at the flowers by the window, the girl once again returned to gazing at the television while answering. To say the truth, even if she denied that they were the same, to me, I didn't know the difference between the two. And anyways, for me, whether the flowers were the same or different, it didn't really matter. Instead of that, the girl normally would never participate in conversation. That girl surprisingly continued with the words. That was why I also tried to maintain the conversation. Are you maybe knowledgeable about this sort of thing?
別に。
Really, but I can tell the difference. The white flowers blooming beyond the screen, the flowers in the face beyond the girl's profile. While vaguely looking at both of them, I continued further with my words. So, there are orchids or lilies? Look, they've got a whitish color, right? Even though I had no interest, I managed to continue speaking. However, the girl soon became like usual and fell silent. With her usual expression, she only gazed at the boring screen. And when I had given up on the possibility that she would take up the conversation and once again began to move my ass back to the television.
ナルキッソス。
Eh? Sorry.
ナルキッソスよ。
Oh. While answering, for the first time, she faced me, swaying her long waist-length hair while pointing at the flowers shown on the television. She looked at me. Just like the flowers displayed on the screen, there was a white vinyl bracelet wrapped around the wrist with white skin. The first time that I saw that face, I thought I saw the briefest of smile. Chapter 2. Few days passed and the winter began even more serious. Out in the world, it was in the middle of what was called examination season. As always, the two of us were watching the television today. It's boring, isn't it?
そうね。
An exchange that couldn't even be called a conversation. There were days where the two of us only meaninglessly passed the time. Speaking of which, for you, when was it?
今日よ。
I see, it's today, huh? Here, the today what they spoke about was what she had told me before, her temporary discharge.
もう会えないかもね。
That's right. Even if she were to once again return to the 7th floor, just once more was probably the limit. In that time, surely I would also be coming and going between home and this place. For the two of us, the timing need for us to meet again was unthinkable.
あなた決まった？
That, which do you want to die at? Thing? No, not yet.
そう。
She nodded in a slightly lonely way. That expression was probably because he was someone going on their second temporary discharge, while I was yet to realize things had not been given by the first temporary discharge from the doctor. That reminds me. In the end, did she decide on her own answer for herself?
説明支度できたわよ。
Coming here and speaking was some older lady. Most likely, it was the girl's mother. To me, since I was sitting next to her, the mother bowed her head slightly.
じゃあそろそろ行くけど用意はいい？うん。それでは失礼します。
Once again, giving me a small bow, the lady made to leave the place. And then, she stretched out her hand to the girl that was daughter. But the girl didn't make to leave the place. Even when her mother tugged on her hand for some reason, she didn't make to stand for the folding chair.
どうかしたの？説明。少し苦しい。え？苦しいってどこが？胸？お腹？胸。ちょっと待ってなさい。すぐに先生呼んでくるから。
In the rush, the slapping sound of gas slippers rang out, and the lady ran toward the nurse station. Life in that place where the girl still hunched over in the folding chair, and me. Her condition, or its progression, I know absolutely nothing about. The things that I knew here, her name was Tatsumi, blood type O. Only the things that were on that white bracelet. However, we were residents of the 7th floor, and the lies, she was worse than me. Say, until the doctor comes, want to lie down here? As I spoke, I pointed at the couch. It was something that was placed in a corner of the room from before. Look, I'll support you back.
別に。もう平気よ。
With just the reply, she quickly stood up on her own. Hey, you! Don't strain yourself. Faster than I could finish quickly, she walked out into the hall. Night, after the lights were put out. As always, holding a book of manga, unable to sleep, I wandered around the hospital. And then, with the lights off, was the pitch dark lounge. There, I found her figure. Yo, you're here again. What's wrong? feeling bad again.
別に
While looking out the window, that was all the girl replied. In the end, it seems like the girl's temporary discharge has been postponed. With that, I didn't know when the next opportunity will be, but most likely the postponement was not in few days, but weeks. Say, I'm just wondering, but today you are faking sickness? Well, the term faking sickness itself might have been a bit strange since after all, we couldn't really be said to be in normal condition. The important thing is you didn't want to go on temporary leave?
意味がわからないわよ
Well, you won't have any more after, right? To that question, she remained silent and gave no reply. From before, she had repeatedly asked me which place I planned to die in. And to that, I had not yet decided, while the girl had said she didn't like home or the 7th floor. You really don't have another place to go, do you?
だったらどうなのよ
Nothing. In the usual lounge, now pitch dark. As always, without even looking my way, the girl sat looking out the window. Even though it was still 11 o'clock, in this place called a hospital, most of the lights were already out. This place was where ordinary and extraordinary days met. Moreover, we were residents of the 7th floor already. We could choose nothing outside the 7th floor and home. From that dark 7th floor window, the girl continued looking out at the outside world, the ordinary world. Still, the buildings and houses so brightly with light, the roads home filled with figures of people hurrying home. I myself had only somewhat realized my situation, but already I was a resident of 7th floor, a portion of the extraordinary world. Probably I was already unable to return to the other world. The me whose time has stopped. Numerous reasons, while overcast skies passed without even need to exchange word with anyone. In the beginning, from the window I watched lively children go to school, people walking quickly. When I tired of that, I always watched the television. There was nothing else to do. Nothing else I could do. Even if I was outside the window, it was snowing. The screen had the sun. Without cold, heart, or pain, a dream world spread before my eyes. I sought peace in imagination. I only greedily increased my knowledge, simply accumulating more and more meaningless trivia. At some point, the things shown on the television lost their reality, next in books, in games, and then family. Finally, even my own body, as if watching some stranger, I lost the ability to understand it as real. That was why, when I came to the 7th floor, I wasn't surprised. If I closed my eyes, always, the world would disappear. That's why I thought I was fine with it, made myself think I was fine. And soon, I would be discharged a second time. The next time I come here, I might not be able to walk on my own. Even though I knew that, I felt my unresisting self to be wretched. I felt myself, who didn't even have a destination, to be ridiculous.
時間を止め心を止め胸に大きな傷跡を作りそれでも22年も生きてきたのに哀れだと思った
January 19, 2005, 7th floor.